Hey there, and welcome back to Transformers War for Cybertron! As you recall, in the last episode, we started off the unused animation miniseries with all the unused Autobot animations. And now, we are continuing on to part 2 for the Decepticon animations. And there are a lot more to play through. So, let's get this thing rolling! Starting us off, we have the Decepticon himself, Barricade, with a unique melee pose. Now, these animations play when your character directly wields a melee weapon as the primary weapon. You'll likely catch this animation playing with leader characters should they acquire the poke kill streak. What's interesting is that every character seems to have one that slightly alters their default idle stance a bit, but some characters, like Barricade here, have a unique one. For the sake of time though, I'm going to keep my focus on stances specific to a character's animation set. Barricade's, as you can see, is similar to his default stance, but his right arm is lowered a bit more downwards. Well, that's the only new one for Barricade. Let's tread on to the next character with Brawl, who has a unique shockwave animation. Instead of the typical arm swing, Brawl puts his foot down, literally deliver a shocking blow to his enemies. Gotta admit, this animation is really sweet. Not sure why he, out of all characters, has a unique shockwave animation, but it's really sweet. Stunting along to our next con, we have Breakdown with the hover transformation. Again, by itself, it is a bit quirky, but when joined alongside the hover ability, it is a bit more coherent. Additionally, he also has a unique hover animation to go along with it. Next for Breakdown, we have a whirlwind transformation. Which is a bit spastic, as most whirlwind transformations are. Heck, his arms are completely disconnected from his body. Still, it is an intriguing sight nonetheless. Floating right along, we have the Decepticon leader Megatron. We'll start with his hover transformation. Not surprising he has one of these, considering the hover is his main ability. Again though, it does look better when used along with the hover ability itself. Next, we have a series of static poses that would have been used in the loading screen, just like we saw with Ironhide in the last video. First, we have Nav Idle pose for screen load, which sets him in a nice victorious-looking stance. Static, simple, but cool. Then, we have poses for Megatron load screen 0, which is similar to the previous stance, but with his general stance posed more forward. So nothing too special there. Then, there is poses for Megatron load screen 05, don't ask me where the others are, which looks almost exactly the same as the first one, just with his arm pulled a smidge more forward. And finally, we have one last pose for Robot, poses for Megatron load screen 06, which features him aiming his fusion cannon directly out in front of him. A quite similar pose I recall seeing in some concept art, if I'm not mistaken. And he even has one for his vehicle mode. Admittedly though, it isn't quite as distinct, as the rotation of the animation isn't taken into account. Really, the only noticeable change here is that the cannon is aimed up a bit higher. And that's about it. Well, that was mega interesting. Let's warp right along to Skywarp with a hover transformation. Which, again, looks better when joined with the hover ability itself. Which, fun fact, is also a unique animation, which seems to be shared along with Thundercracker. But we'll cover that in more detail later. And the only other unique animation Skywarp has is a shield push transformation, which, sadly, has no shockwave effect to accompany it. So that's a shame. Now, grab your surfboard because we're gonna surf some waves with Soundwave, starting with the hover transformation. Again, it is pretty twitchy without the hover ability to use along with it, but once you do, it looks quite a bit cleaner. And the hover also features a unique animation, which just provides more unique floating details to his unique parts. He also has another unique hover transformation, the jump hover transformation. Almost makes me think there were plans to take transforming way beyond what we got, and that there were going to be various variations for different actions the character could take. Unfortunately, though, that didn't pan out. Next, we have another shield push animation, which is, again, lacking the shockwave effect, and it really doesn't look that different. Then, we have a new type of transformation for a change, the shockwave transformation. Weirdly enough, it is a vehicle-based transformation as opposed to a robot one. And there is still no shockwave effect present. Finally, we have another whirlwind transformation, which is pretty twitchy, but still interesting nonetheless. Well, time to hang up the board for Soundwave, because now we gotta soar over to Starscream, starting with a unique melee pose. Again, quite a bit different compared to his default idle stance. Looks like he's real ready to mess someone up. It's nice. And naturally, of course, Starscream has a hover transformation as well, which is a bit more coherent compared to some of the others we've seen. Next, we have yet another shield push transformation. Fortunately, this one actually has the shockwave effect for a change. Though, it doesn't look too different from the default transformation. So, whatever. Ooh, and here, we've got a new one, the shoulder slam transformation. Unfortunately, it seems to only be the vehicle portion of the transformation. So we're missing the best part. Pity. Ooh, and here we got another unique one, the Super Boost transformation. A rather simple and twitchy looking animation, but still pretty cool. I think he's the only character outside of Optimus who has this type of transformation. Next we have a whirlwind transformation. A bit spazzy, but oh, that landing sequence is absolutely wicked cool. Oh, love that. And closing off Starscream, we have a strictly vehicle mode animation, the nav collision animation. Another unused set, similar to what Jetfire used. Would have been nice to have seen it included in the final game, though. But, oh well. Now, that's all for the main Starscream, but we're not done with him just yet. As next up, we have Boss Starscream, with animations for a totally unused attack set. The starter to this attack would have been the Grapple Grab, which I assume he would have used in an attempt to grab the player. This is what you would see if he had missed the grab. If he did, however, happen to grab you, you would get this. Ain't that wicked? Yeah, that is sweet, huh? I don't know why something this cool didn't make it in, and though we never see this in the game itself, I do believe it is actually included at the end credits of the game, where Megatron uses it on Warpath. Still, this would have been a really sweet attack to see in-game. Okay, that is all for Starscream. Let's crack it all off with our final character, Thundercracker, starting with another unique melee pose. A pretty standard looking pose. Nothing too special, but still neat. And unsurprisingly, Thundercracker has a hover transformation as well. And to accompany that is another unique hover animation, the same as what Skywarp uses, if I'm not mistaken. Additionally, Thundercracker 2 has a shield push animation, but again, there's no shockwave effect used. So it's another pretty dull one. Closing off robot mode, we have another whirlwind transformation, which is not nearly as nifty of a landing as Starscream had, but it's still kind of cool. And finally, we're switching over to jet mode for our final animation, another nav collision. Again, nothing super special, but still, it would have been a neat addition to see all the same. And that is all for the unused Decepticon animations. Let's close this off. So, there you have all the unused Decepticon animations. There were a lot of transformations in there. I think Soundwave had the majority of them, and Megatron had all those cool dynamic poses. And let's not forget that unused grapple attack. It's unfortunate I couldn't film the attack itself. I tried to film it with another player, but my connection's being stupid, and I don't know what the heck is going on. Well, we have one more episode to do, and that will run over the shared animation sets for all the characters, as well as the AI characters. And the AI, well, they have some pretty impressive stuff. Way more than I expected, at least for one character in particular. So, we'll run through that next time and check all that out. But, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, don't grapple with Starscream.